I know that your brain has been feeling frazzled and you've been feeling stressed out and feels like your life is just full of chaos. Living in the suburbs or the city will do that to any man. After 35 years of living in this densely packed suburban South Florida community, I was feeling the same way. I'm going to tell you what works for me. I'm going to tell you what the color green can do for you. And I think by the end of this video, you're going to have a very easy homework assignment that's going to have you feeling that sense of peace that you know you deserve. Hello, friend. Welcome back. I am recharging. I am decreasing the stress in my life. I'm uncluttering my brain. I'm defrazzling the stress centers of my mind. This is the St. Lucie Lock and Dam on the Okeechobee Waterway. Woo-hoo, little windy. If you don't know, the Okeechobee Waterway is a river system that connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of America. And as it works its way towards the middle of Florida and Lake Okeechobee, the land rises up, I don't know, 15 feet, 20 feet, 25 feet, something in that neighborhood. So there's a series of locks along the way to rise your boat up as you work your way across the country. And these locks and dams were created by the Army Corps of Engineers. But more importantly, for our purposes, there is a campground here and a small little park with shelters and park benches in the shade to watch the river and to watch the river traffic. So it's nice to get away for a Friday night camp trip. Enjoy the river and the river traffic. The place is pretty full this weekend with RV campers, but it has 3 tent campsites. And 2 of them are occupied right now, and 1 is free still. It's only 20 bucks to camp here, 20 bucks per night. But even if you weren't camping here, you could just rock up here and park for free, walk out to the river, find a park bench, or sit under one of these shelters as long as they're not reserved by somebody else. You know, I've lived in suburban South Florida for 35 years now, and it's very dense. It's a dense urban area. And it wasn't until recently that I discovered that getting out into a park for 15 minutes, 30 minutes would remind me what living is actually supposed to feel like. And I think I have discovered that there's something about the color green. I was talking about this with my friend Steve. We had coffee together on his last day of work as he left the company I work with. And we were talking about the fact that it seems like there's something about the color green that relaxes our brains, and maybe we're just designed to be in green spaces more often than us city folk are. And you know, if you're a fella who lives out in the rural life already and you just discovered this channel and you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, you know, I'm mainly preaching to guys who live in a densely packed urban space. It really can frazzle your brain, and it creates a sense of stress and chaos in your mind. You really have to go find some alone time out in some green spaces. I'm sure you've heard the cliche, touch grass. There's something to that. Get out and touch grass. If you're going to be in a place that has grass for you to touch, I think you found a good spot. So briefly, this park, just a quick mention of what's here. There's built and run by the Army Corps of Engineers who still maintain and manage it. There's a boat ramp here, so you get to watch people put their boats into and out of the river. There's a courtesy dock for you to park your boat up against as you're loading or unloading. And then also there's several docks further down the way if you want to camp on your boat. And there's little campsites assigned to several of those small slips that are over there on the river. And if you want a RV parking spot on the river, you want spot number 1, 2, and 3. And the cool thing about their website is you can go on the Florida website for these parks, and it's got a grid that shows you a calendar and all the campsite sites, and if they're reserved or available for a given day. So it's really easy for me to look on there and find a Friday night that's one of the campsites, one of the tent sites was available. Yeah, I don't think we were designed to live all crammed up against each other. It's just not natural. Living that close to retail spaces and each other, you need some elbow room. You need some space between you and the next human every once in a while. If you're starting to feel agitated, annoyed at your fellow man, you find yourself getting angry easily, it could be that you just need to get out to a park for 15 minutes. Look on Google Maps. Look for something in your area that's written in green text. And just drive over there. Find yourself a spot in the shade. Bring something to drink. I have Waterloo Cherry Limeade today, sparkling water. Yeah, this park here proves that you don't have to... Oh, excuse the radio. I do have my UV5RM here, so I can tune into channel 13 and 16 on the marine bands. The lock operates on channel 16, so I've been listening to the boats communicate with the lock master as they approach to get permission to go through the lock. It adds a little layer of interest to chilling by the river when you can listen to the boats that you see going by. Somebody was making a, oh, if you don't know, the navigation locks and bridges in Florida operate on channel 13, so that's the locks, the dams, the drawbridges, swing bridges, that's all channel 13. The emergency channel is 16. And I heard someone making an emergency call a little while ago, and the Coast Guard responded, and then the guy that originally called never answered. He said he had a medical situation on board and wanted help, and the Coast Guard responded and said, "What you need?" and never answered again. So, kind of weird. Scott, how can you be smoking a tobacco pipe in 2025? Don't you know nobody smokes tobacco anymore? Well, the way I look at it is the government tells us not to smoke tobacco because it's bad for us, but they tell us we should all be smoking pot because that's just fine. And generalizing, tobacco makes people more alert, and marijuana makes people more lethargic. So I guess ask yourself, what does it say? The government doesn't want you doing one thing, and they do want you doing another thing. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, so like I said, this park proves that you don't have to move to Montana to find peace. You know, Florida's been hiding this little park here from the general public for decades. There is a pretty big thunderstorm rolling in off of Lake Okeechobee. Looked at the weather map a little bit ago. Let me take a screenshot of that so I can show you on the video. Yeah. That little storm rolling off of Okeechobee, unfortunately, is headed directly at me. And when I look at the time, it's 3:30, so at 2:30, it was over the south side of the lake. Right now, an hour later, it's halfway to me, which tells me I got an hour before we start to see some of that rain. And I'm barely just starting to see the horizon in that direction turn slightly dark. So, story checks out. So listen to me, brother. Some of you guys are ex-veterans. You got enough stress in your past for 1,000 lifetimes. Some of you guys have really, really stressful jobs. I'm not saying you got to go out and go camping to recharge your brain and reset your peace, to reclaim the peace that your mind should be experiencing. At the very least, go find yourself a park to just chill out. Now, sometimes I wish I had a nice telephoto type camera, because there is either an alligator or an otter that climbed up onto the bank over there, and I don't have any kind of photography equipment to capture it. There's a nice little cove that branches off from the main river here, and a lot of boats use that to anchor up if they can't get through the lock because it's closed. They do shut down the lock operation at 4:30 in the afternoon. So if you don't make it through in time, you have to anchor up and wait till the next morning when they open up. And this little cove off to the side here, a lot less current, and a lot of boats like to pull in there to anchor up overnight. And on that bank over there, I can see moving around alligator or otter. Don't know which one. Can't tell from here. All right, so if you're anywhere on the east side of Lake Okeechobee, within, I would say, 30 minutes north or south of anywhere around the lake, these Army Corps of Engineer parks that are on the locks and dams. There's another one on the other side of the lake called Franklin Dam or Franklin Lock. There's one at Port Mayaca, which is the entrance to Lake Okeechobee on this side. There's one at Clewiston on the other side of the lake, which is the entrance to the river system going out to the Gulf of America. And they have campgrounds there. Looks like we got a pontoon boat captain here pulling up to the lock. And he was just calling in. It looked like he called on a cell phone instead of on a radio. I didn't hear him make any transmission. So, you know, I once saw a really funny bumper sticker that stuck with me. It said, being a pontoon boat captain is just like being a regular boat captain, only drunker. Well, I guess, speaking of getting out of here, I should get on out of here. I wasn't really speaking of getting out of here. I know, I didn't. I just stole the wrap-up line from Wavy Boats, that's all. Broncos Guru. That's the guy that does all the boat ramp videos down in Miami. People unable to dock their boats. I should buy a boat. But yeah, I can see the wind is moving and that storm will be here in another half hour or so. So I reckon I should go ahead and pack up my stuff and get everything loaded up into the truck to get out of here, because I'm not staying over another night. I hope some of this has been valuable to you. I hope it has helped some of you. I am telling you, this is your homework assignment. Go out, find a park. Doesn't have to be far, doesn't have to be big, does not have to be in the middle of nowhere, but find a park with a little bit of green. Go find yourself a park bench, sit down, be one of those old guys sitting alone in parks for 15 minutes or a half hour. See how you feel and come back and leave me a comment and say, Scott, you were right.